Hello and welcome to Find It live on Wednesday night. How you all doing? I am here at the shop in my podcasting room, and I've been here on and off all day because tomorrow is Studio 11 style pop-up shop from 11 o'clock until 6 p.m. So hopefully locals who are watching this will stop in and see me. I'm going to have blowout prices to get rid of some things that I've had for a minute. And I have a bunch of new stuff that I want to show. So tomorrow from 11 to 6, downtown Chillicothe, I am open for business. So I am a little tired. This is my app. And I keep showing this because my hope is that you all will download the free app in your app store, in your Play Store, because this keeps us connected and you can see all the new stuff, all the sales, my messages. When I do live streams, you can tune in or not, but you'll know what's going on. It keeps us connected. Okay. That's all I'm saying. So if you download that, it would make me very happy. And if you have the notifications on, obviously, so you know what's going on if you have that on. Also tomorrow, anyone that downloads the app and uses it for the first time will get a little present because I'm encouraging everyone to use that. And my credit card reader machine is not compatible with my iPad. So it's going to be all about the app and website purchases tomorrow, but I will be here to help you and you will have fun and you will have things that you love because I don't want to sell anything to you that you don't love. Anywho, so this show is sponsored by Studio 11 Style. So thanks for being here. I have got to tell you on my live stream, so every single Monday night at 7 p.m. for Studio 11, I show new stuff. I try stuff on. I give tips, tricks, and things I don't sell, but I love and I want to share with you guys. So anybody who's on here right now, please let me know if you were watching me when I sprayed my face with this self-tanner, because I'm all about, I don't like self-tanners. Hey, Sean, love you back. I don't love self-tanners, but I found this one for my face, neck, and chest, and I really do like it. And it doesn't have a real horrible odor. Oh, Susan, you better not be texting and driving. You'll have a timeout tomorrow when I see you. So I sprayed this on my face, and I like it, but I must have overdone it. And that was on Monday. But by today, this morning, when I woke up and I looked in the mirror, I was like, wow. So when Susan Foley was in town, so she's on the road back to Columbus right now. But when she was in town to stop by, she was like, you look sunburnt. And my husband, David, saw me at lunch and he goes, why do you look so tan? And I was like, do I look really tan? I think I do. And he's like, yeah, Sean, you saw me. And I was like, I mean, tomorrow I'm showing resort wear. I'm having a special resort wear collection. And it looks like I've been to a resort, but I want you to know, quit texting, Susan. I actually put foundation over my face to lighten it up because it was really tan, which I'm not opposed to having a tan, but it was almost like you couldn't see any of my features. It all kind of blended in. So I like this stuff, but take it easy. You don't have to spray a lot. Just saying. So that made me laugh. I just had to share that. And I also wanted to talk about, I talked about the pop-up, talk about my live streams. I love that too. So when you're on the app, you'll always get a notification if you have notifications turned on, because I don't always go on at this. I always go on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern, but there are other times I get a wild hair, Debbie style, and I just decide I'm going to do a live stream. So you'll always know then. But I have been thinking about a lot of things, and I'm a deep thinker anyway. So that's just who I am. But I've been thinking about with my kids and how certain things that bother me that they do, or decision making, or they don't do, like procrastination, or I've been really thinking about this because if I'm really being honest, the things that I see in them, good and bad, I'm really paying attention because I can see things in myself. It's me. You know, when they say that sometimes if you don't like someone, sometimes you might not like that person very well because they're mirroring some of the things that you don't like about you. So, I'm not saying that I'm not. Hey, Christopher, here I am. Sorry I'm late. Kid was asking questions. Aw, good to have you, Christopher. So, there's some things that I have realized about myself through watching my kids grow up and make decisions on their own. And especially, especially with Dalton, with my son, he and I are very similar in a lot of ways. He's also a deep thinker. He's a great listener. I do a lot of talking, but if you have something to say, I am going to hear you. I am going to listen to you because I feel when someone shares something with me that's personal or they just need someone to talk to, I value that and it makes me feel like, "Oh my gosh, they want me to listen to them, or maybe they want advice, or maybe they don't. But either way, I'm going to listen." So Dalton and I are very similar in that way. And there are some things that are absolutely driving me crazy right now with him. And I really had to pause and think about it. Yes, he is a deep thinker for sure. And he is a good kid. He's a good adult. He's adult now. But he's driving me a little nuts. And so, oh, hey, Jim. Good. First time to catch the show. Well, this is different because I usually have a guest, but I'm throwing in some solo ones every once in a while. I just have a lot going on. So when I have a guest on, I want to really invest time and energy before they come on to be in a place where I give them a great show. And if I have a pop-up shop tomorrow and I've been having a lot going on, and so I felt like I needed this to just be Debbie. So one of the things I will tell you that's been going on that I was planning for, also why planning this pop-up shop, was my daughter's 25th birthday party. And she's never been one to really ask for a birthday party or anything like that. But this year, of course, she wanted one. A quarter of a century. Hey, Sonia. She's a quarter of a century old and she wanted just a smaller party, but kind of bougie, if you know what I mean. She wanted a party with her and her law school friends. So she's going, "Hi, Darlene. Hi. I'm glad to see you here." She and her friends, they're in law school and they're going to be graduating next month. So she said, I just think it would be really great if I had a birthday party and I just invited all of these girls. We're all going through the same thing right now with a lot of stress and a lot of finishing up this and that to get through. And so I said, okay, well, but of course. So I did this little party and Lynn can show you. I might not keep it on the whole time, but Lynn in the back can give you a little preview of what.
Which one do you want?
I don't know. I can't even remember what one I gave you.
Okay.
I can't remember.
You wanted the background party one first?
Sure. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll do a little preview of it. Producer in the back's got calls coming in. Yeah. I'm trying to see.
You can narrate it.
Okay. You can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes it's muted. Okay. So we had a little banner. This is on the club room in her apartment. And I made a little bar. I hired a bartender. She is a local gal and drove up to be our bartender. Kelsey is her name. And hi, Christy. She looked fabulous. She did. I picked her dress out. Of course, I'm going to dress her. She still relies on me to do that. That was High Five Cakes, by the way, for you locals. High Five Cakes made the cupcakes for the girls. I made up this drink list with funny little names. And this is a gluten-free, dairy-free cake because she's gluten-free, dairy-free. And there's a place in Columbus that makes cakes. I got her a tiara and 25 and Fabulous, and did some place settings. Yay, yay, high five. I love high five too. And did some flower arrangements straight out of 1999, baby. And then this is the dress that I selected for her. So she loved it. She felt really special. All of her girls from law school showed up. They were just really happy to be there. And then I made these little boxes with all these little cool things inside as party favors. Like, they're adult women now. So it was like under eye little moisturizers and lip masks and fuzzy socks and, a koozie that said 25 years, and then 1999, all the stuff that was going on in 1999. That was a
You want to
throwback.
queue up the next one?
Sure.
I think the
Now,
next-
here's the next thing. Is this going to be, am I also going to be able to talk during this one?
This one I did leave the volume on there.
Okay, so we'll show
Yeah.
this.
Yeah. You
this is-
ready?
Yeah.
Okay, try it.
There you have it. So that was just a couple little snippets of the evening, and I was running around like crazy trying to get things in the background. I had things pretty well done. I got there the night before, did a lot of things beforehand, but it's a memory. It's a memory for her and her friends before they all graduate and part ways, and they celebrated her for her birthday. So it was all good. I know it's hard to believe she's beautiful. Oh, thank you, Darlene. It is hard to believe that our kids, we just feel like, I don't know, even though I haven't felt the greatest here in recent, I got to tell you, I don't feel like I should be old enough to have a 25-year-old, but I do. I most certainly do. And I'm really proud of my kids. But I guess the point of why I started talking about them and the things that bother me is because it's not just, it's bothers me, I think, partly because I see some of this in me, and I'm still working on myself and growing as a human being and trying to be better. And so with that, I tell myself, okay, well, if you're trying to be better, well, be a better parent and don't judge them for Sonia, right? Otis is 28 and 24. Yep. So I think that when you care so much and you're so emotionally invested in anybody, be it your parents, your sisters, your brothers, your kids, but kids especially, I feel like we can sometimes get really bent out of shape over the things that they're doing or the decisions they're making, and especially if they don't take our advice. And sometimes our advice is always going to be good because we care and we've lived longer. But sometimes they do need to make their own decisions, so they own that. And sometimes their decision might be just as good as the one we are offering. This is what I'm telling myself, okay? So just go with it. And just support them as much as you can with their decisions. And I also wanted to bring this up because I've really been thinking about this, Darlene says, I feel ya, girl. They get older and we still feel like, well, yes. We still feel like they're kids and we're in control, and we got to do all the grunt work when they're really young so that we know when they leave that they're going to make the best possible decisions when they are adults. So I'm working on that. It's difficult for me. But I do know that I can remember my mom saying, oh my gosh, if all my girls could be happy at the same time, I would just be so happy. And I've thought about that a lot because I also find joy when my kids are super happy and they're succeeding and decisions they're popping off is good. I feel great. And then the opposite is true. If they're having a really hard time and they're making crappy decisions or decisions that I think aren't great, I feel that. And we have to let it go. And we have to a degree, you have to, I'm talking to me mostly. I'm wondering, yes, anybody with me on this here? Anyone that has, a lot of people probably are watching that have small children, but this is a good thing to talk about so you can be prepared about things that come up in your future. And we can't find happiness in other people. We have to find happiness inside ourselves. So I don't know how many of you guys follow me on social media or not, but one of the posts that I made recently, Lynn, I have it. It's a picture of me and it talks about what's inside of you. And that's kind of where I was going with this. The best part of you lives inside of you, not in someone else. And this can be taken many different ways. Yes, truth, Christopher. Boom. So the angle I'm going with on this right now is we have to be happy in our own selves and not always rely on someone else to bring us the happiness. So finding it, partly this type of finding it, is finding joy within ourselves, finding our own happy, and not necessarily, of course, we're going to be happy when our kids are happy, but what are you going to do when they're not? What about the people who have children who are ill? What about the people who have kids who have made really poor decisions and are addicted to drugs? That will kill us if we can't somehow find a way to dig deep and find some type of joy in the sadness of worrying about someone. Yes, that will never change. Once a parent, always a parent. My mom always said that too. Oh, thank you, Christopher, for sharing this. Miss July says, yes, it can be difficult to watch our kids make decisions that we don't agree with. It is so, so difficult. And when a friend or someone else makes a decision that you don't necessarily agree with, it's a lot easier to flow with it. It's so difficult when it's your own children. And you also, I think sometimes we feel like, why aren't they taking my advice? And it can be hurtful, but they're adults. They're claiming their adulthood. They want to do things on their own, and I have to just be ready for it. So Darlene says, I have 3 girls and 1 son, all grown, and they have children. My oldest grandson is 30, and they make you feel old. Empty nester here. Oh, empty nester. But you know what, Darlene? Here's something I just thought of. It popped in my head from that. When empty nesters, okay, so when that happens, what are you doing for you that in this next chapter of your life brings you joy? So why I'm saying this is, when I was hosting the party for my daughter, a couple of people popped into the club room before we had it rented. So it was the night before. And we just started talking. And this kid was having a really hard time. I don't even know how I get in conversations with people, but I did. So I don't even know this person. But he was talking about having a really difficult time. And I asked him, I said, well, you're got to get through this by doing things that you enjoy. And I asked the question, and I'm going to ask you the question. All I said was, what do you do that you really enjoy? And that's the response I got. He couldn't think of anything. And I said, now that's a problem. And I've been there. So if you don't, there's got to be things that you can do that you enjoy. Do you like to read? Do you like to work out? Do you like to take walks? Do you like to take drives? Do you like to bird watch? Do you like to, what is it? So I think what happens a lot of times, hi, Nick, I just saw that pop up. I think a lot of times we get in the mode of either career, that's who we are. We are what we do. We are that. I'm a mom. My kids, that's who I am. I raise these kids. I do a great job. That did bring me joy when I was raising the kids. When they went off to start their own lives, which I wanted desperately because that's what I raised them to do. But that was when I realized they were my joy, and they still are. But what else do I have? Who am I? What do I enjoy to do? And I just thought, gosh, this young kid, he's really caught up in this relationship that went sour, and he's sad. And I said, when you're sad, even if it's not over a relationship, if it's over anything in life that really is bringing you down, we need an outlet, some type of outlet and not anything dangerous. We don't want drugs and alcohol and all that. That's not the outlet we want. We want a healthy outlet for our minds and our souls and all of that. Yes, Sonia says, I enjoy watching my kids succeed. 100% we do. And we also need something inside of ourselves that brings us joy, that we don't rely on from other people. That's a big responsibility to put on someone too. If you put that on your wife, or you put that on your husband, or you put that on your parents or your children, I don't know, to do this to make me happy, that's asking a lot of a person. Like, each of us are just trying to find our own way and have happiness in our own lives, let alone feeling like someone depends on you to bring that to them. So that's kind of where I was going with that. I don't know. I pulled some other quotes that have really been speaking to me lately. Lynn, do you want to pop a couple up on and we'll talk about it? Does anybody have any questions? Anyone have any comments too? I appreciate Darlene. And whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. Lynn, what's up? What happened? You're
Nothing,
mute.
I just wanted you to move over.
Oh, move this way?
Yeah.
Oh, he's awful bossy back there.
Yeah.
My producer in the back's giving me move over. Yeah, whatever. But think about that. Whatever you are not changing, you are choosing. And I'm just going to say it. I didn't want to talk about specifics with my son, but if you're paralyzed with fear to try to do something because you don't want to fail, then you're sitting in the same thing that's making you miserable right now. So he got the door slammed in his face trying to get in to get his master's, and now he's getting ready to apply again, and he's procrastinating a little bit because I think he's concerned about that rejection again. And this is what I'm talking about, that I think I have a little bit of that, because I am just now starting some of the things that I wanted to do long time ago. And as I've aged and I really understand that I don't want to be old, or I don't want to, and like Steve Rizzo says, I don't want to die with all these ideas and all these passions inside me. I want to share them. And when he said that, I said, that's exactly how I feel. I feel the same way. When Steve said that, I don't want to die with all of this still inside of me. I want to share it, and I want to do these things. But it came with age, it came with time, it came with life, it came with loss, that I was able to learn these things. And when you try to explain this to your children, they hear you, they try to understand, but they don't really understand, because you don't know the things you don't live. Share and help others. Yes, Nick. Yes. Nick, I am so glad you're doing I'm so glad you're doing better. We were praying for you so hard. He had a lot going on health-wise. So Nick, glad to see you here. Katrina says, my fear is not failure. My fear is being successful and not knowing what to do with it. That's Really true. That is so good that you mentioned that, because some people do fear success. Like you're saying, like, oh my gosh. Um, it might sound strange to some of you listening that someone would fear success, but ponder that a little while. And it's a huge responsibility to have success. And there's a lot that goes with it. Really good point, Katrina. Thanks for tuning in, sis. I like it. Christopher says, I am hating thinking about what my son is going to experience in his life with hurt and betrayal, rejection, etc. I pray I'm here every step of the way. Me too, Christopher. And that's the good thing too, knowing that no matter what, as long as we're healthy and we can be there with them to help them through it, that's a good feeling. And during the hurt, no one hurts as bad as us. Like that's what, until they have children of their own, they don't realize that when they hurt, we hurt. When they're happy, we're happy. But once again, we have to be able to find that balance between, I'm sad that you're sad, very sad, but I also have to not let this eat away at me, and I have to dig deep and be happy within me. Angela Vaughn. Hi, Angela. I hope your daughter comes to the pop-up tomorrow. I have had a necklace for her that I need to give her. Plant seeds, water, give the sunshine. They will bloom when they are able and ready. Oh, that's so true. I love that, Angie. I love that. Yes, that's so true. Look, you're getting an amen and a truth from the badass, no nonsense coach right there. That's awesome, Ange. But yeah, so let's put up another quote. Do I have another one? Change never happens overnight. You must embrace the journey. After all, the butterfly did not always have wings. Change never happens overnight. You must embrace the journey. After all, the butterfly did not always have wings. So that almost makes you even think of the planting seeds and giving sunshine too, Angie, because it's a process. It is definitely a process. And the thing is, Tori and I have talked, my other child, Tori, if you guys know, she and I have talked a lot about, we're not in the same place in life, but a lot of the things are overlapping for us. Just change, doing new things, trying new things, figuring things out. But what Tori doesn't understand, that maybe a lot of you will, who are listening, is we're always changing. We're hopefully, I said to someone one time, I hope to God I'm not the same person I was in high school. Lord, I hope I've grown since then. And I hope I've grown since last year. And even being able to look at my kids and say, I don't like this, but part of what I see is something I see in me. And so there's another lesson for me. So, but anyway, I have a big day tomorrow. So I probably am not going to stay on here much longer, but I guess I do need to say that this made me laugh, actually. Stop disliking people for what you heard, and be grateful God doesn't dislike you for what he knows. It's so true. Christopher says, every day and every way we should be growing or we are dying. That's so true, Christopher. It's so true. I should have given him a link and had Christopher come on, Lynn. We could have really used a dose of Christopher Rausch up in the Find It house tonight. Christopher, can you come on? Can you come on one day soon? It's been a minute since you've been on, so maybe we'll do that soon if you're available. So I just want to leave you all with that.
I can throw him a link maybe and see what happens. So hold on.
See if he can pop on for a second. So hold on, guys, because Christopher may be on. He might have some little nuggets of words of wisdom for us. I guess I'm just being really. I still don't have things figured out. I don't think we ever do. And like Christopher says, if you're not growing, you're dying. So I'm constantly trying to be a better person. And I've definitely made mistakes. I've definitely, not always been the best parent because I'm super emotional and I have to get a control of that. Sometimes I overreact and then I feel bad about overreacting. And that still happens sometimes. Even though I know I do it, I have to control it. And then I started this business and sometimes it's slow and then I get fearful, like, what am I doing? Is it and then I'm like, no, Debbie, it's a process. I have to stick with what I'm doing and I enjoy. And I think I bring a lot of I do bring some positivity to things. I also bring some truth. I bring quality stuff in my mind, but not just that. It's not just the clothes. I think I bring value in other ways. And so, oh gosh, I think you guys, we have a pop.
Doesn't need no
If
introduction.
anyone ever tried to do this to me, I would be like, no, I'm not coming on. Haven't even brushed my teeth. He's like, come on.
My little brother.
Let's put the rock star up here. Make him bigger.
Make him bigger. What's up? I was sitting there. I was in my ears. I had you on the other Facebook thing, so I was watching you, and then all of a sudden I was like, "Fuck! I can hear like 17 people talking right now. What's going on? This is not normal." Hi, beautiful people. What's up? I was just sitting here enjoying the show, watching. My son was talking to me and stuff like that. I think what you're talking about is brilliant. Just bravo, bravo, bravo. We need more people like you sharing your heart and soul out there, so we can all connect and grow as a world.
What? So right now, your son's how old?
He is 7 going on 17. He is starting to experience some life situations, and it's hurting me a little bit. He's talked about being rejected, going on the basketball court, and he's been beat up a couple of times in school, not the major, but I can kind of see how he's kind of going to be that outcast. He's going to not be the strong, popular dude. He's going to kind of be the guy that maybe is picked on. And I just sit there and I think, oh my God, I want to prevent that all for him. But I also know that everything that I experienced in my life helped me become the person I am today. So I can't rob him of that experience. And so I've already been premeditating my brain to sit there and say, okay, just be there, listen, understand, paraphrase, just be there for them, and not necessarily always want to be there with advice, but just say, hey, I understand what you're going through, and maybe share a story about what I experienced, and maybe just have a bonding moment there that he always knows that he can communicate. Because I think that's the biggest thing we need to teach our kids, is to be able to come and communicate with us when they have those situations.
Yeah. And you do want that feeling comes over a parent to go like, I am going in on these kids and the teacher and the blah, but you got to there is a point where you have to allow them to work it through themselves, because this is teaching them all of the strengths that they will have for later in life, so they can handle their own problems. I'm sure you want to do a thump on some kids, like,
No, I don't want to thump on kids. I just want kids to realize that there's more out there than what they see within inside their households. And I feel sorry because I've had coaching clients who have been teachers, kindergarten teachers, first grade teachers, high school teachers, the gamut. And especially through COVID, they got to realize and they got to see into the kids' lives and see what they experience. And they get personal with some of these kids, and they realize that these kids don't have a home life. They don't have people at home they can trust. There's a lot of abuse. There's a lot of, intergenerational abuse and fighting for, resources and everything like that. And these kids need to be heard. These kids need to be loved. They need to be given the opportunity to learn life skills, because we're never taught.
Yeah. Well, did you ever have a teacher? Did you have a teacher that saw that in you and helped you?
That's a great question. I was a problem kid. I was ADHD. I lost my ability to have any confidence very early on, so I would not speak up because I was afraid of being stupid. I had a visual problem. I had a hearing problem that they couldn't even diagnose. So it was like, what's wrong with this kid? But there were a few teachers, I think, that took exception to that. I remember my first grade teacher really helped me out a lot. I was so scared shitless going into first grade. I didn't go to kindergarten, so all the kids already knew each other. And so I was petrified. And I remember Mrs. Johnson. She helped me pronounce my S's because I said my S's like a T. I don't know why, but she really helped me pronounce my S's. And so I stopped being embarrassed to talk. So yes, thank you, Mrs. Johnson. And now I speak all over the world.
Oh, yeah, that's good. She had compassion and love for you, because you guys, if you've not seen Christopher on the show before, he's been on 2 other times, like as a guest, not a pop-in. I have a pop-up tomorrow, and I got a pop-up guest tonight. It's a theme, people. Pop up.
I should wear some of your designs.
Yeah. So Christopher was homeless for a while with his mother and slept in a car with a ton of animals, and really never really felt like fully loved and cared for. In fact, he tried to take care of his mother, who we know now was mentally unstable, and
At
also
least,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, she just wasn't right.
Right.
It's not that she wanted to behave that way, and she wanted it's was who she was. Incredibly intelligent woman with a lot of mental health issues.
Exactly. Well said, Debbie. You remember very well. Yeah, she was challenged by those things. And I think that's that's an opportunity for us in our growth, not to have blame and anger and resentment towards our parents and towards the people that have wronged us in our life, but to look at them with a sense of compassion and say, if I had gone through those experiences that that person went through, might I be like them? And for me, that's been able to like really disarm some anger and resentment in my life towards people who have betrayed me, old best friends, ex-wives, all sorts of, well, ex-wife. I shouldn't say I have more than one. Just have one. You know what I'm saying? But I've had so many opportunities to have that hurt and that betrayal that I don't want to see my son go through that. But at the same time, I want to, like you said, give him the tools to be able to say, okay, when I'm at a crossroads right now, I can either choose to wallow in my pity and be a victim and hope, wish, and pray that something changes, or I can arm him with the opportunity to sit there and say, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? What am I supposed to grow from this? How can I see this as an opportunity, not as a door that's closing, but this is an opportunity now to see that a door is opening. Now I've lost that friend, but now it gives me room for a new friend. So give him that opportunity to reframe his perspective from saying, okay, what have I lost to what am I gaining, and gaining that strength for himself. And I think that's
it really is perspective. It really is perspective. And just like what I was talking about at the front of the show, for me, it's not, I can look at it as like, these kids are making horrible decisions there, or no, I can look at it as, no, they're adults. They're making decisions that they feel are best for them. And that's good. That's really good. So perspective is everything. And
yeah, I mean, how do you process that? Like, you know, when it's not just a difference of opinion on a decision, but when it goes into deeper situation like values or ethics or morals or, you know, their stance on abortion or something like that, how do you process or handle that? Or have you had to face that yet?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because I've had multiple debates with Tori, of course, Tori, about all kinds of things, including abortion, but more about women's rights in general.
Yeah.
And I respect my children's stance on where they are with what I just try to see their side. I'm not going to try to change them to think the way that I do, but we've had some really good debates where they've made me see things a little differently, and I've also helped them see things a little bit differently, where we can meet in the middle a little bit more, which, don't you think we need a lot more of that right now?
I was just going to say that's a beautiful example of what needs to happen in the world today, is that seeking first to understand. When I think about some of the major lessons I've learned in my life, somebody just asked me this the other day on an interview, and they said, what's like if you had to pick one? And I'm like, seeking first to understand, then to be understood, has probably enriched all my professional lives, my personal lives, personal friendships, everything, business relationships, contract vendors, everything. Like, let me understand you. Let me make sure I understand where you're coming from, because if you feel like you've been heard, then you could drop your armor and you can listen to me, and we can have that healthy debate. We can have that healthy discussion to say, you know what, I really didn't see it that way. Debbie, thank you so much for sharing that with me. Now I can see it this way, but I can also still stand my ground in this situation. Perhaps you can see something where I'm coming from, and you guys can go.
And that's the truth.
That's what I'm always trying to do, is get people to see that, to go, we really want the same thing.
I feel like so many times people, and I've done it, I've been there, where I'm so rooted in what I think is right, that when someone else has a different view, I'm not really listening, and I'm ready to debate it, instead of just, we're not going to always agree. No. That's impossible. So just let that guard down a little bit and just hear people out. And it's okay to agree to disagree. Amen. But we don't have to fight all the time.
Or name call. I just saw somebody on Facebook that just said somebody who doesn't agree with this presidential candidate are stupid. And I'm just like, I commented and I just went, you know what? Delete.
If everyone could just understand that we can communicate and just not all the hatred. I'm not for that.
Not necessary.
explaining,
Not.
it's not necessary, and it's not making us better.
I have
It's
a zero
fighting our own
tolerance.
country. It's sad. It makes me very sad.
Zero.
I don't even like talking about politics. So let's see. Always ask yourself, WWJD, what would Joe do?
What
Problem
would
solved.
Joe do? Joe would get a cup of coffee and talk about sales
Oh my
and have
gosh.
a cigar.
I think
What's
it
up,
should be
Joe Ingram?
WWJD.
I was just talking about Joe not too long ago. I brought up an old Friday Night Live that we did way back in the day. During
Old
COVID.
being the operative word. Old.
Yeah. Well, Joe is old. I mean, so you have to sit there and put that in there. But it was one of the old Friday Night Lives. It was Ken, it was Joe, it was Glenn Morshower, Paula. It was just
Abdul?
Pamela Aubrey. Fuck what I was thinking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it was a good time. So good to see you, Joe.
Joe, you know Joe. Everybody knows Joe.
Everybody knows Joe.
Well, Christopher, I hope that you're able to. You guys are lucky. I'm too old to hear you. Turn the bell tone up.
What?
I am just. I know that you'll feel the feelings with your son having some, maybe a little bully issue, or maybe some not fitting in issues or whatever. But I know that you'll, and that you've come such a long way, and you coach so many different people. I know that you'll handle it in the right way. But man, it does hurt your heart. It hurts your heart. You'd rather it be happening to you than your kids. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
I've felt that before. Like, oh, just give it to me. I wish I could carry it for him. But it's part of the life lessons that we go through.
It is. That one time he told me, you guys, so what happened today? He's like, nothing. And I said, did you want to talk about something? And he goes, well, I went to the basketball court and I wanted to play, and I was kind of watching the kids and I was waiting for him to ask me. And I said, well, did you ask them? And he goes, yeah, I asked them, but they just ignored me. And he just kind of looked down. I was like, oh my God, my poor kid. I feel so bad. How many times I wanted to join in and I got, booted out and everything. And I stood on the sidelines hoping, wishing, and praying that I could join in. And he just kind of looked down. I said, what did you do? And he says, I just went off and played by myself. And I was like, oh no. Yeah. Because you could just see yourself in those situations. If you experience that yourself, it takes you right back there as a kid. And you just have to remember, like, okay, what is he supposed to learn from this experience? What did I have to learn? I had to learn to step up and not take everything that was happening to me personally, that it was that person's own hurt in their own situation that they were dealing with. And I just happened to be that person that was going to be the punching bag at that moment. It wasn't me personally. And that's why I had to really change and reframe my perspective to not be that victim anymore.
Do you find your happiness within yourself, or do you rely on other people sometimes to bring that to you?
Way long ago, absolutely 100%. It was based on validation. It was based on ego. It was based on how much money I made, how much stuff I bought, how important I was. No, now it's all internal. It's all internal. It really has to be. That's why you have to have zero tolerations for the people in your life that don't serve you. There's so many people in my life that I've unfortunately had to wish well, and not in a harsh way, but to say, hey, okay, listen, I'm going to just continue on my situation, my journey. I hope you have fun doing the things that you're doing. And that kind of sucks because sometimes it's lonely, but at the same time, if we find that we're on this journey and we're creating a legacy that we're proud of every single day, then we can sit there and be internally gratified in that moment to know that if this is the last thing that I do, and God forbid something happens to me, my son can come on here and watch this and go, wow, Dad was on point. Dad always was talking about, how to lift other people's spirits up. Dad was always talking about that we can take responsibility for our emotions. He would watch this and he would know he was on point, that I was on point. And so when I wake up in the morning, I set that intention every single day to find gratitude in the moments, to find gratitude in the simple things like, wow, I can go to the bathroom by myself. I can brush my teeth. It's a gorgeous morning. I have electricity. I mean, the stuff we take for granted that's so true. In a nanosecond, somebody could hit all of our power grids. We could be all without electricity for a month.
Oh, that would,
I mean, there's God-forsaken things that can happen out there. I'm grateful that I have a beautiful life and I have all these opportunities. That when you have that in your life, everything else becomes gravy. It's like, oh my God, I got a new client today. Oh my God, I got this opportunity.
It's just icing on the top.
You just got, oh my God, all the abundance comes in because you're vibrating at a, and I wouldn't have said this 5 years ago. I wouldn't have believed in it. But when you're resonating in that vibrational frequency where you own and you're good with who you are and you're good with the people in your life and you don't have to tolerate stuff and you don't have to pretend to be who you're not, it's pretty amazing what you attract.
Oh yeah, good things come that way. You know what I just thought of, Lynn? I forgot to talk about Tracy sending me that message. It made me feel so good. So we should put that up there. So a girl, her name's Tracy, and she sent me this message on Facebook, that she works in the healthcare field and frequently deals with patients who suffer with dementia, cognitive issues. And last night while working, I used this game as a means to communicate and interact. The name of the game is Find It. How ironic. The object is to find the tiny objects within the tube that is filled with colorful tiny beads. It can be love, peace, fashion, happiness, life in general. But no matter what phase of life we are in or what obstacles we encounter, we are always striving to find it. Thank you for your inspiration and allowing us to use your Find It to find us.
Wow.
And this is the game, Find It.
Cool. How beautiful.
She sent a picture and at the bottom she circled butterfly because that's my logo. And I just thought that was so sweet. And I actually really received that message extremely heartfelt more than normal, just because I've just been kind of tired and some things have been kind of poking at me. I don't know how to explain it.
Well,
Like
I feel you. It's that midlife kind of. It's that midlife. Okay, things have really. So I'm feeling it too. I feel it. At 50, I just turned 55. I'm not sure where you're at, but I feel that there's so
I'm
many.
Not there yet. But
everything's shifting. Everything all of a sudden is shifting. What I thought was important isn't important anymore. Material things, and I'm finding it hard to not be that person anymore. I'm like, all these things I need to let go because they're not important anymore, but I feel like they're a part of my identity in a way, part of my journey. And so it's kind of weird as you get older, the more important things aren't things, they're moments and their experiences, and you kind of let go of those other things. So
for sure. It's and just like even with Corey wanting the birthday party, I'm like, yeah, a birthday party instead of a bunch of gifts. We're creating a memory. That's great. I am all about that too. But finding it, I mean, when I first started this show, and find it. I know I've on a journey to find it, and I know that I'll continue to try to find what else I need as I go on in my life. But it's so funny the things that I see now, like Find It in Ohio. Like now we have, I don't know. One of my friends sent me it says welcome to Ohio, find it here or something like that. I was like, what? I was like, it's kind of funny, but anyway, I just wanted to share that. Thank you for Tracy. And I've really gotten to know her because she's a client of Studio 11 Style and she's a huge support system. And she sent me that message and I just thought that's so kind of her. So I appreciate her. And then once again, Christopher, do you have my app yet?
Yes, I do.
Wife, you got to get your wife on here.
It's right here. Sure.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Studio 11 Style. This show is brought to you by Studio 11 Style, where on a scale from 1 to 10, you're an 11. And come and see me on the app when I do live streams and show you clothes. So it's like, it's kind of funny. I always say, I'm like, new age QVC. So funny. If anybody knows what QVC even is anymore.
That guitar right there was bought on QVC from Bret Michaels. Yeah. Yeah, I swear to God, I was drunk on a Sunday. I was flipping channels and I went and flipped by and I saw QVC on the menu thing. And I'm like, oh, no way. And I flipped past it and I saw Bret Michaels on there. And I was like, what? Go back there. And I'm like half in the bag. I'm just sitting there drinking all afternoon. And all of a sudden he's up there playing this guitar, this one, right? The Flames one. And I thought, oh, it's going to probably be like $1,500 or something like that. I'm about to switch channels. And you're like, oh, you get the guitar, you get the pick, you get all this stuff for like $275. And I'm like, oh, wow. And it's actually a really super nice guitar. It's like one of my favorite guitars to play. So yeah. So QVC, thank you.
Yeah. Double thumbs up for QVC. So I'm emulating that.
Double thumbs up for you, Debbie. Thank you for bringing the show all the time. I know what it takes to bring a show every single week. And especially that's what I loved about this one, especially is that it was from your heart. Not that they're not, the other ones aren't, but I felt that there was a definite deeper message that you are connecting with other people tonight and sharing that. And so thank you for doing that, because the more people, the more of us that do that, the more that we realize that we're more the same than we are different, no matter what our political beliefs and sexual orientations are and any other label you want to put on it, the sooner we can all be happy and let down our guard, not be so worried about, the stuff that's perpetuated in the news and politics and all that crap. Let's all be happy and help each other rise and live kick-ass lives.
Rise and have a kick-ass life. That's awesome. Hi, Lynn. Are we ready to wrap?
Hi, Sister Lynn.
Just about, but no, I'm just happy to see him here. And I think you guys have had a great show. And
thank you for having me on. I was just sitting here enjoying it.
Thank you for being vulnerable. You are brave. Oh, Ange, such a good girl. Such a good girl. All right, guys. Well, with that, I think we will end the show, and I will be back with you again next week on Wednesday. I don't know who I have next week to even tell you, but it'll be a surprise, I guess.
Surprise.
Surprise. And keep finding it. keep working on yourself, keep finding it, and we'll find it together. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
That floats around me.